technique, and it's called ink direct to paper. And that's because we are literally going to be dragging the ink pads right across our paper. So for this card, I'm using Soft Sky, Smoky Slate, and Crumb Cake. So I have an Early Espresso card base, some Crumb Cake, some more Early Espresso, and a piece of Whisper White. So we can set those aside, and we're just going to work with the Whisper White. Right, the first color I'm going to use is my Soft Sky. And I'm just going to keep my finger up at the top and the bottom because I want to have a good grip on this ink pad. And I'm going to swipe it across, but I'm going to use a very light touch as I do it. And I'm just doing it until I get as much color on there as I want. So can you see that? It might be hard to show up on the camera, but there's some blue across the top. Next, I'm taking my Smoky Slate. I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but I just want a line across the middle. So I'm just going to tip my ink pad, just ever so slightly, just like that as I go across. So I'm just tipping it, just a tiny bit, and lightly dragging that across the center. Right, so I've got my gray across. You see that? Now the last color we're using is the Crumb Cake, so I'm going to do the bottom third of the paper. So what I've basically done is I've created a landscape. So I've got my sky, and I have, you know, you can call that a mountain range or whatever your imagination wants it to be, and some ground. Now, I'm going to take my Walk in the Wild stamp set. Love this set. I'm going to use the mousse. I'm going to use my Early Espresso ink to ink up my mousse, and I'm going to stamp them in this corner just off a little bit so that the grass starts on the bottom of the white. Push down nice and firm, don't wiggle, give it a second so that the ink can soak into that paper, and then that's what I have. Now in this same set we have a Thinking of You, so I'm going to ink that up, stamp that on as well, just like that. Now you could leave this as it is, or you could take a blender pen and you can pull some of that ink from the mousse into those white spots and just kind of blend them all together. And use a bit of the gray for inside of his antlers. I'm going to take my blending pen into my Early Espresso ink because I just want to get his nose a little bit darker. So now all I'm going to do is adhere that to the Early Espresso cardstock, attach that to my Crumb Cake, and put that on the front of my card. There you go. Really fast, nice masculine card. Very simple technique. So you could use exact same technique with our other stamp sets. So for instance, this is our Wetlands set, and I used the birds in this set to create a beach scene. And yet I've used exactly the same colors as what I used here with my mousse. So you can see you get two totally different cards using the same technique and even the same colors. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Happy stamping.